Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on my channel. My name's Tyler. I go by Zany here online. If you're new to my videos, welcome. Here I talk about Linux content. I'm also working on a game called Never Alone. It's a low poly survival horror experience, and so if you want to see me develop that, definitely check out the description below. You can find my Odyssey link. Follow that over to Odyssey. It's a fantastic YouTube alternative. You can thank me later. Much better than YouTube. I know you'll appreciate it. Go on over there. You'll find a lot of the content creators that you're probably used to watching on YouTube are already over there. Now, also, before I forget, I always forget to do this, or not always, I just added it, but I knew I was going to forget to say it, and I know from now on I'll have to remember because I will definitely continue to forget. But anyway, also down there in the description, I have added my crypto addresses, so if you want to send me crypto, because I had someone reach out, and right now, really the only way I have of supporting me, like if you watch me on YouTube and you're not interested in joining Odyssey or using LBC or whatever library, if you're not interested in that, really the only way is LibrePay. But now those are down there, so you can shoot me some crypto if that's how you'd like to go about supporting me and what I do. By the way, I don't have any sponsors, don't throw ads on the videos, I don't make money off of YouTube, so and it's not like I make an insane amount of money off tips on Odyssey either. So if you do want to help support me, those are down in the description. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Now, what do I want to talk about today? Today it's going to be audio and sort of video issues on Linux, and why I understand that there is a large portion of people out there that try Linux and end up not wanting to continue to use it. So if I go in here and just open up my file browser, I'm just going to open this up and we'll pop in here to my desktop, my Unity, and you're not alone. Oh wait, hold on. Nope, my builds. I'm sorry. And then I've got my latest build here for Linux. If I was to, so I've got a new laptop here. It has the new RX 5600M chip in it and the new Ryzen 7 laptop chip. Here inside of Linux, there is a big issue when it comes to switching between the discrete graphics card and the dedicated one. There's a huge problem on stuff like GNOME and stuff. You have like options to right click and launch with discrete graphics card, but the problem there is on every single GNOME, Wayland, or Xorg based distribution that I've used, the screen flashes randomly black and then it crashes and shit, and it's just all bad. Here on Arch, I've gotten it to work. The only thing is if I open this build right here, which I'm not going to do it just because we're talking about it here and I don't want the recording to get all screwed up or anything. I don't want anything weird happening because I know this machine, it could happen. But if I was to just open this right here, it would actually launch it using the integrated graphics chip on the Ryzen 7 chip, so it's much underpowered compared to the dedicated one. For me to launch this using the dedicated graphics card, instead of launching it from here, I have to literally launch up a terminal, which I'm using ST here, and I haven't patched it so I can zoom and make the font bigger, so it's not really that important. If you can't read it, don't worry. I'll explain what I'm typing out, but essentially I would have to CD into the folder that I have the application in, which I'm not going to do that, but I'll just show you what I have to type. Then I have to type, what is it, DRI underscore prime equals 1, and then do the / and then like whatever the name of the, like let's just say it was Linux build or something like that, just / Linux build. And if you don't know that's how you launch an executable file from the terminal in Linux, just a / and then whatever the file name is. As long as it's executable, it'll launch it up. The Roomba's going in the background. Hopefully that's not coming through too much. I know it will though, but I have to enter in this command here to be able to launch it with a dedicated graphics card, which is a little annoying, but it's not that big of a deal for me. I'm completely fine with that. I you can see I'm using DWM here, so it's not like I'm afraid of going into config files and manually setting up stuff to work how I want it to work. And I will say one thing, doing it this way, where just the computer is always using the integrated graphics card, and I have to manually, every single time I want to use the dedicated graphics card, manually do it myself. It is nice, only because I know it's going to work. I know it's not any issues. And then also, when I'm using the dedicated graphics card, if the operating system defaults to using the dedicated graphics card, I have no audio. The internal sound card is apparently, I guess, hooked up and utilized by the iGPU or something like that. So I still get audio when I manually choose to use the dedicated one. But anyway, that's beyond the point. What I'm getting at is there's a whole bunch of quirks and usability issues that you're going to run into when you start trying to use Linux on, bleeding edge hardware, or, for somebody who is interested in Linux or who has recently heard about it, and, they go out and they buy a brand new machine with, like the hardware that they've, been waiting to get. It's new, it's fresh. That person who comes back home and tries to install Linux on it, the odds that they are going to run into plenty of quirks is probably pretty high. And that's one of the things why I understand why there are so many people who try Linux and then have to go back to Windows, because something that they need for their workflow is just not working on Linux. And I think in the Linux community, we have this mindset of, well, like if it wasn't working, it's because you didn't know how to get it working. And while that might be the case, you have to understand that there are plenty of people, and the majority of people are this way, where when they get a computer, they might want to tinker around with it for a little bit. Once they get it, customize it a little bit, set it up for a little bit, play around with the settings and stuff like that for a little bit. But the majority of people, after about 2 to 3 hours with a computer, it's time to use the computer like a computer, get work done, be productive, and go about your day. And now that I am taking this game much, much more seriously, and it's very important to me that I finish it, it has been a legitimate struggle to resist the urge just to be that type of person. Well, man, I should just go back to Windows. Like, I mean, at least on Windows, everything would work. Like, sure, everything works now that I've literally played with this Arch install for about 5 to 6 hours. And I have perfectly figured out how to get around the quirks, how to make it work for me. But most people aren't going to spend that much amount of time to make sure that the system works the way they want it to. If Linux, or like, let's say in my case, Arch, is not your favorite, it's not your favorite operating system. If you haven't spent a lot of time with Arch or Linux and you've gotten very used to it and you appreciate it, you really like it, and it's your preferred operating system, might not put in that much effort. And so when you're out there talking with people who are new to Linux, if they seem like their interest has been piqued, and maybe they mention to you that they're, when they get their next computer, that's when they'll switch over to Linux, be honest with them. Tell them that's probably not a great idea. If you're going to run out and buy the latest and greatest in hardware, you might want to wait a while to try Linux on that machine. Or before you go out and get that new machine, test out Linux and see if it's for you in the first place on the machine you've got now. Hopefully you guys will let me know like what you think on this, whether or not maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here, and if you're going to try out Linux, no matter what your hardware is, you should be willing to put in the effort. It is free. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about it. For me, I completely understand the people who are like, I just want to get work done. And I tried out Linux and it took me 2 hours just to be able to, make sure that the audio wasn't going to, glitch out, or like for me, one of the bugs that's very frequent, almost always when it comes to using Pulse audio, if I reboot the machine and then open up OBS, I'm going to have to unplug and replug in my microphone to get it to work. I just have to. After that, I can open up OBS as many times as I want. The microphone will just be there and, work. But for some reason, if I reboot it and turn it back on, even though it's set up in Pulse Audio just the way it was before, in OBS, I'm going to have to unplug it and replug it in. And for all I know, that could be an OBS thing, but I'm 99% sure that's a Pulse thing, because Pulse is just notorious. We all know Pulse has issues. By the way, if you're new to Linux and you're like, what is Pulse? Pulse Audio is the audio server for Linux. It's responsible for managing your audio devices and ensuring that audio goes where it's supposed to. And it can be finicky. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. And thank you guys for listening to me. I know I was just essentially talking down here in the corner of the screen with really nothing that interesting going on. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.